funniest person in this competition. I have a few announcements before we get started. What if I just was on a loop? I just kept going. We did this all night. Nobody competes. You're just like, I thought my friend was in this. This guy just went on a loop. He's on drugs. I am on drugs. No, I think I have a good guess here looking around, but who here did a dry January? Anybody do dry January? Two people that were like nervous to say anything. I didn't do dry January. I'm not gonna do sober October. I did do freaky February. Yeah, if you're not familiar, that's when in the month of February, you go to a Chinese restaurant and have a wacky mishap with a fortune cookie and swap bodies with your mother. So, yeah, it's for the 6 Freaky Friday fans here. Thank you. So I'm not Doug, I'm Doug's mother. The rest of my set is me telling you guys about people that died that you don't know. It's gonna be a real bummer. It's my mom's favorite hobby. Did you hear that Bethany died? Who is Bethany, Mom? She works at the vet clinic? Okay, I don't know what's happening. I travel a lot for comedy. My favorite airline, maybe unpopular opinion here, but it's Southwest. Anybody else? Yeah. They better not change the seating system. That's why I love it. If you're not familiar, they have an open seating system. If you're lucky enough to get the alphanumerical combination of A1, that means you get to sit anywhere you'd like on the plane. And that's what everybody prefers. But I prefer A2, because that means I get to sit next to the person in A1 that thought they'd have the plane themselves for at least 30 seconds. And I act very excited about it. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna be best friends. I ain't never been this excited. I haven't been on a choo-choo in the sky before. Did you know my mama's the president of ice cream? Like, I get real weird. Take off my shoes, they love that. Watch like a Fast and the Furious movie on my laptop on like full volume. Or better yet, I just pull out a laptop and just stare at a blank screen and laugh hysterically for the entire 3-hour flight. That is unnerving. And then right as the plane's about to touch down, I turn to my neighbor and I break character and I'm like, can you believe I'm the air marshal? Yeah, I have a gun. Best part about it, if they are the air marshal, they can't say shit. It's awesome. My wife and I went to a music festival years back that was really fun. We're going to see a friend's band perform. And after their performance, we were gonna go hang out and catch up in the backstage area, but there were a couple problems. One, all the like green rooms were just trailers, and they all looked the same. And the second problem was we were on all the mushrooms in the world. So locating that trailer amongst all the trailers, very difficult. And eventually we're with our friend that's in the band, and she's reaching for what we assume is her trailer door, and then suddenly she says, oh shit, and she jumps back and she points to a sign that indicates it is not her band's trailer. That trailer belonged to another musical act, perhaps you've heard of them. They're called the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, and I heard there ain't nothing to fuck with, and my wife and my friend are like, oh, we can't go in there. And I was like, I think we totally should go in there. And they're like, we're tripping balls. We can't go in there and just hang out with, and I was like, that's the reason we should go in there. I can taste colors right now. They're gonna love me. They talked me out of it. I was very upset, and to this day, I still have a lot of regret about this situation. The only way I find solace is I tell myself every day that somewhere in the multiverse, there's another me out there, another Doug, that did go in the trailer that day, and he is now in the Wu-Tang Clan. That's right, somewhere out there, it's RZA and Jizza and Ghostface Killah and Doug. So, that Doug is living my best life. For the last 6 months or so, whenever I have to take a crap in our home, I'm the king of transitions, by the way. Whenever I have to do that, I always play the song Release the Beast by the band Breakwater. Thank you. It's a warning shot to my wife that I am indeed releasing the beast. She laughs every time I laugh. It's such a dumb joke. But 2 weeks ago, I was at a bar here in Austin, and they randomly played that song, and I shit my pants. I accidentally created a Pavlovian response. We call the whole experiment Pavlov's asshole, so. All right, I like it. You're a science crowd. Here's my favorite prank you can play. This is really, if you go to a bar or a restaurant where they have a QR code to scan to pull up their menu, this is so fun. This is what I do every time. I just fake scan the menu, the QR code, and then I call a waiter over all flustered, and I'm like, excuse me, I just scanned your QR code for your menu, and hardcore porn showed up on my phone. They are freaked out every time. It's so fun to witness. Last time I did this, they called a manager over. The manager was all like upset and like worried. He's sweating, and he was like, "I am so sorry, sir. I don't know what's happening. Let me try." He scans the QR code. He shows me on his phone. It is indeed the menu. And I was like, "Okay, let me try again." I fake scan it. I already have hardcore porn loaded on my phone. I turn my phone around. I show it to him, and I'm like, "Sir, what kind of restaurant is this where your menu is this guy doing that to a horse?" Yeah. I don't want to brag, but I get free breadsticks for life at Olive Garden. So I complimented a woman on her pants the other day. I was like, "Hey, I love your pants." And then she scanned me up and down as if to compliment something on my person. And then she just said, "Thank you." Screw you, lady. It's pretty easy to lie. In her defense, I was only wearing Crocs, so I get it. Hey, that's it for me. You guys ready for a good time? All right, give it up for everybody who saw tonight, everybody. Come on. That was great. Who was your least favorite? No, I'm just joking. How fucked up would that be? Now I will just tell sillies while we tally up the votes. This is my favorite part of the show because I'm going to go around and ask you guys individually what your favorite genre of porn is. I'll start with, I'll share mine. Cake farts. Anybody know cake farts? No, seriously, fuck off. Nobody knows. Somebody here knows what a cake fart is. If you're not familiar, it's kind of impossible to explain, but basically it's when you see, it's like a porn where somebody's farting on a cake. That's it. It's not difficult. It's a whole thing. It's a whole subgenre of porn. And the way I was introduced to it, I got this video where there's this young woman, and she's very like unassuming and cute young lady, and she's in a kitchen, and she just looks at the camera and she says, "You know what I like the most?" And I'm like, "I don't know, puppies?" And then she just says, "Cake farts." And then she just mounts a cake and farts on it. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And what's funny is my wife, before we met, also saw that same video. A friend shared it with her. It's just this, there's nothing to us, it's nothing like pornographic, it's just funny. Cake fart, like somebody farting on a cake, that's hilarious. I can't write a joke better than that. That's genius. And a few weeks ago, we were at Matt's El Rancho. Yeah. Hell yeah. And this woman is seated next to us. It looks like she's on a first date. And I turned to my wife and I was like, "I think that's the Cake Farts girl." I don't get starstruck. I was so starstruck. I was like, "Oh my God, that's the Cake Farts girl. I have to say something." And my wife was like, "It looks like she's on a first date. Please don't say anything." And I was like, "Look, I'll be subtle." So I go up to her and I was like, "Excuse me, miss, but I am a huge fan of yours. And I would be honored if you would fart into my plate of cheese enchiladas." Turns out, wasn't her, you guys, wasn't her. And I am now banned from Matt's El Rancho. Kind of a bummer. Okay, that wasn't the joke to open with, starting out at the end here. As you're waiting for your friends to hopefully, let's do another fart joke though, let's do it. I was coming back from the airport here in Austin, and I was taking an Uber, and the guy driving me didn't speak English. He turns around and he's like, "Do you speak Spanish?" I was like, "No, I'm sorry." And he looked kind of flustered, and then he turns around, he types something in his phone, and he shoves it in my face. It's Google Translate, and he asked me with his phone, "Can I pass a little gas?" Yes, I laughed like some of you guys did. I laughed in this guy's face. I was like, I love this guy. He doesn't speak English. He's making jokes, though. Like, that's awesome. Gotta respect that. But I can see that my laughter has hurt this guy's feelings. I feel very upset because he's upset. And I'm like, oh my God, I've hurt this guy's feelings. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, oh, maybe he wasn't asking that. Maybe it was a mistake. So I'm like, what could he be asking? And I realized he was probably asking, can I get some gas, like gasoline? And I just quickly said, "Si, si, si," which if you don't speak Spanish, that's yes, yes, yes. And he quickly pulls over into a gas station, and he indeed fills up his car with gasoline. And then he gets back in the car and lets out the biggest fart I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, this guy's a comedic genius. I'm so jealous. I brought my quarterback sleeve so I can call audibles. I grew up in, this is embarrassing. I grew up in Plano, Texas. Hey, all right. Couple laughs. One guy just sadly raises his hand. It's not the best. We were known as the heroin capital of the world when I was there, which was weird because the slogan used to be City of Excellence, which seems more like a better slogan, you know, to be honest. If anything, just be like City of Excellent Heroin, just combine them. But I was there telling jokes a few months ago, and I was like, I'm gonna stop by my old childhood home and just like get a picture, you know. So it's like 8 a.m. and I'm like outside of my childhood home, and I snap a selfie that I'm gonna send to my parents, all happy, you know. And in that selfie is a panicked woman in a window looking through some blinds, just probably thinking, who the fuck is this guy? And why is he taking a picture of my home? So I just turn around, I nervously wave, and I run off. And that doesn't help her nerves. And then I start to I drive around the block several times, just like, oh, I should probably, and I'm like debating what to do. I'm like, maybe I should go back and tell her that I'm not a psychopath coming back to murder her. I just grew up in the home. But driving around the block, she's seeing me every time. It's not helping her in any way. Finally, I pull up. I decide I'm gonna do it, and I'm nervous. I knock on my old childhood home door, and she answers. She doesn't open the door. She just like yells through the door, "Who is it?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I came by earlier, took a picture. I didn't mean to startle anyone. I grew up in this home. I just wanted to get a picture." And then she asked, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Doug Mellard." And then she just opens the door. And she's like, "Come on in." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" Like, I know my intent, but she doesn't, you know what I mean? And she lets me in, and she's holding a baby. It was insane. I just walk in, I look like a crazy person, and she I was gonna just like take a couple pictures and hang out for like a second. I felt just awkward the whole time. She showed me, she took me on a tour of my old childhood home. I was there for an hour. She was so sweet. But at one point, she took me into her husband's closet. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just, what are you doing, lady? Like, this is not a smart thing to do. And I thought, maybe this is how some murderers get their start. They're just like, this could be easy, you know? I should teach this person a lesson. All right, that's a new one. It was so-so. I visited the Alamo recently, and oh man, they have the soldiers' uniforms on display, and they are so tiny. Oh man, that must have been the cutest battle ever. We have eaten a lot of brisket since then, you guys. That was fine. They say that the secret to keeping your love alive or going, your relationship, is to keep the spark alive, you know? I call bullshit. Spark seems like the laziest thing. That seems like the smallest thing. Like a spark, I don't want a spark. You know what I mean? It's the bare minimum. Here's the thing. A few years back, there was a woman, a female astronaut, that drove from halfway across the country to Florida wearing diapers so she wouldn't have to like pull over to pee or shit or anything. And upon arrival, she beat the shit out of her ex-boyfriend's current girlfriend. That's the kind of spark I want. That's not sparky. That's not a sparky. That's fire. You know what I mean? That's the kind of fire I want burning in my diaper-covered loins. That one's okay. Whenever I take a shit upstairs, I like to say to myself, that's some next level shit. Yeah, that's solid. Oh, this was like 20 years ago or so. I should know the exact date, but it was Valentine's. I was here in Austin, Texas, and on Valentine's night, I stopped by this young lady's house to ask her if she wanted to be exclusive. I thought it'd be romantic. I was going to ask her to be exclusive, girlfriend, boyfriend. But there was a problem. Her ex showed up, and I could only describe her ex as a gentleman that was fueled by the maximum amount of cocaine you can do without overdosing. And he jumps through a window, crawls through some glass to beat the shit out of me, and that was not what I expected. And at one point, I just held his arms behind his back to keep his hands from beating the crap out of me. And I was like, oh, this will keep him from hitting me. I forgot about headbutts. That's the thing. Just got 30 seconds of headbutts. I had 2 black eyes. Long story short, he eventually just snapped out of it and apologized to both of us. He was like, I'm so sorry, and walked off. It was so weird. And then I threw up. And then, craziest part about the story, I still asked her to be my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, this is what I want. This is probably a good idea. And then after that, I was like, hey, this guy's out there. You have a broken window. You should not sleep here tonight. Let's stay at my place. She agreed, and then we went to my place. And I wake up at 7 a.m. to this noise, and I look over. She has snorted the largest line of cocaine I've ever seen anyone snort. And then she just goes, breakfast. And that's when I knew I made the right decision. I was like, and that's how I met my wife. Nope. I think, if you are at a coffee shop and there is someone on a Zoom meeting for work and you're next to them, you should be in on that meeting. You have every right to say whatever the fuck you want to these people, because fuck you. Thank you. I hate it so much. It makes me so angry. I've been in the camera. I've been in meetings, and I'm sick of being quiet about it. I just want to raise my hand excuse me, who's in charge here? Listen up, Todd. What do we do here? Oh, we're a tech company? Not anymore. We are now door-to-door chili salesmen. And I would appreciate it if our people were paid in fish. Thank you. I didn't know how to end that one. Okay. I'm a bit of a gambler. I recently got a massage after eating a Frito pie. Yeah, that's a fart joke. I heard, I saw this weird YouTube video where Ted Bundy, the serial killer, was talking about how he was saying that every serial killer had one thing in common. They loved porn. Which, if that's the case, probably most people in this room are serial killers. But he's like, every serial killer, they love porn. That's the problem. And then I saw a follow-up. They asked both Jeffrey Dahmer and Charles Manson about his comment about porn. And both Jeffrey Dahmer and Charles Manson were like, yo, porn isn't the problem. I'm the problem. I killed people. How fucked up do you have to have other serial killers being like, dude, take some accountability? That is messed up. I have some friends that, as adults, are into fencing as a hobby. Oh. Another way to word that is, I have some friends that like to play pirates as adults. I'll make that a better joke, sir, on your honor. Nope. I hate when you set a precedent for yourself in a new relationship with somebody. You know, like I was actually at a show here at Cap City, and a friend of mine came out, and then she brought a friend. I'd never met this guy in my life, and she was like, "Hey, say hi to Andy," and I just gave him the biggest hug. And now every time I see this guy, I'm like, I have to fucking hug this guy, and neither of us want it. But like, I can't downgrade to a handshake. It's like, okay, there's no out on that one. I just have a captive audience. I'm trying new shit. Let's see here. Nope. Nope, that doesn't have an ending either. Okay. Man, I'm flying through it. Here we go. No, I already did that one. I went to, my wife has a cousin in town, and she had her like senior dance recital that we went to. We went to support her, you know. We're there to support a friend, a family member, and we're at this dance recital at a high school, and as soon as we get in, my wife has to use the bathroom, and so I'm just alone at this high school for a young ladies dance recital. And this friend of mine shows up. He has a young daughter. My wife and I don't have kids. And so this friend of mine just says, "Hey, I'm here because my daughter wants to be a part of the team next year. Why are you here?" And even though I knew I was there to support a loved one, I still felt nervous. I was like, "Oh, God, yeah, this looks weird." And I get very uncomfortable. I was like, I try to explain it. And then eventually my wife shows up, and it's all fine. But we start to sit down. We watch the dance recital, and my wife and I had purchased, you can like buy like chips and stuff if you're hungry, and it all goes back into the school. You're supporting the school. And we bought some Cheetos, and I'm watching these scantily clad young ladies. That was a weird clap. Like, whoever did that, just be weary of that person. It's weird. We're watching this. I'm watching this performance, and I have Cheeto fingers, and I didn't have a napkin, so I'm watching these young ladies, and I'm like rubbing my fingers, and my friend's head just pops over, like, what the fuck, man? She did a good job, though. It was all so fun. I had to get I didn't get a urine sample. I didn't take a stranger's urine sample. That'd be weird. I wasn't like in an alley with a gun, like, give me some urine. I had to give a urine sample, and so I was at the doctor's office, and if you've never done it, I had to pee in a cup. And then you take the piss cup and you put it in a little metal window. You like slide a door open, you put it in the window, and then somebody on the other side slides the door open, and then they go nuts. I don't know what they drink it. I don't care. And I just, after the fact, I thought of like the funniest thing, and I wish I had done this. This is what I'm gonna do from now on. Next time, I'm just gonna like make a noise like I left it there, and then just make a noise like I slid it shut, but then I'm just gonna sit in the window. Just all pumped up, like, excuse me, are you the piss wizard? Do you like shadow puppets? It'd be fun. Speaking of drinking piss, did you guys, Do you guys know Hippocrates? This is a real guy who's he was known as the father of medicine. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, actually would drink his patient's urine. Oh. Yes, to try to like diagnose them. And then he's known as the father of medicine. Some sexual deviant is known as the father of medicine. That's crazy. And I get it, like back then, like this is like ancient Greece. They're just like, well, surely he's smart because no one else would do this unless it involves science. All right, that's a new one. There's something there. I already did that one. Oh, this is a crazy story. This is a real story. Every part of this is true. Years ago, here in Austin, I worked at this place where you could have photos developed, like real life photographs. You guys remember that? Anybody old enough to remember actual photographs? Yeah. And so I work in this register at this place, and this guy comes in. And I don't know if you've ever just looked at somebody's face and immediately you thought, I don't like this person. But I didn't like this guy's face. This guy walks in and he asks for his photos. I show it to him, and you're allowed to like look through the photos, and if you don't like something, you can sell them back. You know, so that was all normal. But he just looks through his photos and then just casually walks out of the store. And I hated this guy's face so much. I just thought, like, this guy gets away with this shit all the time. Not today. I jump over the register counter, run out the door. I called for backup to the register. I run out to his car, and his passenger side door is open. And I like just kind of like hang in there. I just like put my face in through the window, and it's like, excuse me, sir, you want to pay for those photographs? And he just goes, no, and he smiled, and he starts to reverse. And this pissed me off further. So I'm just like kind of walking sideways in the car. We go into the street, we're kind of like yelling at each other. We're at a red light, it turns green. He floors it. He's dragging me along the side of his car. And eventually, I just tuck and roll. And luckily, I was young enough at the time, totally fine. If I did that today, I'm dead, like many times over. And I've kind of rolled off to the side. This stranger, this guy in a yellow beat-up Mercedes, pulls up, and he yells. He opens his passenger side door, and he goes, "Get in!" And I did. I got in the stranger's car, and then I just go, "Follow that car!" And then we just start this adventure together, just like the shittiest action movie of all time. We're tailing this guy for a while, and then the guy at one point turns to me and goes, "What did that guy do?" And I was like, well, what didn't he do? I mean, I'll tell you what he did. He's a really bad guy. He stole $4.32 worth of photographs from a pharmacy. And now this guy giving me a ride is afraid of me. And we eventually follow this guy to his apartments, and I get out of the car, I turn to the stranger that gave me the ride, and I was very stoically, I said, "I'll take it from here." And he just looks up at me and goes, "Yeah, I know. I'm not a part of this, you fucking psychopath." Guy drives off, and that's when it hits me. I hate my job. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't care that this guy stole $4 worth of photographs. And now I'm on my lunch break, and I'm spending it walking 4 miles back to fucking wherever that place was. I don't want to say the name. All right, that fizzled out. We're fine. Man, they're having some tough calls here, you guys. All your friends are so funny that there's probably like knife fights going on back there. No, already did that. Pick a number. Pick a number between 1 and 34. 5. 32, okay. I think that I always am amazed when people casually in traffic just throw their baby in a stroller out in front of you when you're driving your car. That's if you've never been in a four-way intersection where somebody just fucking walks out with their baby, that's incredible. It's like a dare, really. All right, you guys got too scared. Long story short, I killed a baby. I don't want to end on that. We've got the results in. I'll end on this. Do you guys think that butterflies have tattoos of annoying drunk women on the lowers of their thorax? Hey, that's it for me. I'm Doug Mellard. You guys